boost from time to time. Our family, our crew.
For the final time this regular season, it's Red Northwest Conference action on a Friday night. Lane Tech and Orr set to tip off in just under 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Alex Burstein, courtside here at Orr Academy High School for a big Friday night conference and matchup between Orr and Lane Tech. Former Lane Tech basketball player Cam Lawton, now with Orr, one of their star players. He faces off against some of his former teammates in some Friday night action. Just about 8 minutes to go until tip-off, and this should be a fun one. Orr enters tonight's contest without losing a conference match this year, 4-0 in conference play. They've been very hot, one of the best teams in the state, just outside of the top 25 right now, but a very impressive team nonetheless. As for Lane Tech, they enter tonight's matchup 14-4 after losing a tight game to Westinghouse last night. That's going to be one that they want back. However, they will try to get it back tonight against Orr in a big Friday night matchup. We'll take you to the court now where the teams are warming up before tonight's matchup. Alex Burstein on the call here from Orr Academy High School. Fans slowly filing in. Should be a nice crowd for some Friday night hoops here at Orr. Lane Tech, as you mentioned, coming off a tough loss to Westinghouse on Wednesday night, and the key for them tonight is just going to be getting back to being able to score. On Wednesday, they were really not able to score. They put up 42 points, I believe, 44 points to Westinghouse. On Tuesday against Farragut, they won the game. They scored 57, but their offense just not being as productive as it had been the past couple of weeks today in this week. So Lane Tech looking to turn that around. This is a very strong Orr Spartans basketball team. As we mentioned, 10-3. They haven't played as many games as some teams, but they've played a national schedule. They've traveled around. They've played some of the top talent. They're not scared of facing anyone. Last week they went against 2A powerhouse Yorkville Christian, fell to them, but that's a potential rematch in the state playoffs, and that will be a fun one whenever that comes around. But first, these two teams have to finish out conference play. One matchup tonight and then one or two next week to wrap up conference play before we get started in the city playoffs. That should be fun. Or looking at a very high seed. As we mentioned, they're undefeated. They possibly had one forfeit loss. Not sure if that one's being made up or not, but they're in the running for this Red Northwest Conference title, where there will be likely either going to be them or Whitney Young. Both those teams have not lost a game that they've played in conference yet. Young 6-0 or 4-0. And then the rest of the conference kind of just jostling for places right now. So Lane Tech enters tonight 4-2, Clark 1-1. That's what I saw online. It could be, I don't know if that's accurate, because two conference games this late in the season doesn't sound right, but Clark kind of sticking in that third place because of how few they've played. Lane Tech enters in fourth place tonight. But North Lawndale also at 4-2. Those two are going to be competing for fourth place. The winner of, both of them win tonight, Lane Tech will keep in fourth place. If both of them, in fourth place. If both of them lose, it will be the same story. And if not, and if North Lawndale wins and Lane loses, it will be a North Lawndale. We're going to take a quick break to make sure our stream is working, and we'll be back in just a second. You're watching Lane Tech Basketball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Four minutes and 30 seconds until tip-off here at Orr Academy for some Friday night conference action. Once again, thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from the Orr Gymnasium. As of recent, it has been all Orr in this series. I could only find 4 recent results between these teams, and they all went to the Orr Spartans. Lane Tech has just had trouble getting past the Spartans in recent years. However, they will hope to turn that around tonight while facing off against the Spartans. Lane Tech will be in their away green jerseys for the second time this week, or in their home whites. Lane Tech has had a busy week so far. They played against Farragut on the road on Tuesday night. Wednesday, they hosted Westinghouse, and now they close out their busy week against Orr here on Friday night. Next week, it'll be almost the same story. One extra day of rest. Monday, Wednesday, Friday games for Lane Tech as they take on Clark at home, West Whitney Young at home, and Northside at home. Those games on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, respectively. First two to finish out conference play, and then senior night on Friday against Northside. We have under 3.5 until tip-off here, so we're going to take you into the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Lane Tech basketball team, they're going with the starting five they've gone with all week long. There's been one replacement this week, and that is Stephen Goonan cracking the starting lineup instead of Jack Zor, who was out for Tuesday's night game. He was active on Wednesday, played limited minutes, but did not get into the starting lineup, and Goonan will start in the 4 position once again tonight. So to go along with him, it'll be number 1, Sean Malloy, the 6'3 senior guard. Number 5, Ethan Grunebaum, the 5'11 senior guard. Number 22, Shahid Salibo, the 6'3 sophomore guard. Number 23, Stephen Goonan, who, as we mentioned, playing in the 4 position as a forward tonight. And number 24, Lucas Basil, the man in the middle, 6'6 senior guard, forward/center. So these two teams both have a lot of guards on their roster, or will definitely have the height advantage tonight. You can see them warming up on the left-hand side of your screen. They're just a lot of taller. They definitely have the height advantage, and we'll see how that plays out. We weren't sure. I honestly expected Lane Tech to be the height underdog in a lot more games this year, but they have found their footing, and in a lot of games this season, they've been the taller team, and Lucas Basil's been one of the tallest guys on the court. That's not necessarily going to be the case tonight. Just looking quickly, Caleb Hanna, a starter for Orr, will come in at 6'7". He's the only starter taller, but also a 6'5 starter for Orr. And speaking of the Orr starters, we'll get you those here as we approach 2 minutes to go until tip-off here at the Orr Gymnasium. Speaking of Caleb Hanna, he'll be in the starting lineup tonight, the 6'7 senior guard. Very impressive stuff from him. He's coming off a 14-point performance on Wednesday night against North Lawndale. Number 10, Leonte Lilly, the 5'8 senior point guard. He's 5'8", but do not get any wrong image about him. This is a very impressive ball player, and Lane Tech going to need to do a great job to stop him on defense tonight. Then it will be number 11, Davion McCarthy, getting the start, a 6'2 senior guard. Number 14, Cameron Lawin, who, as we mentioned, a transfer from Lane Tech, freshman, sophomore year at Lane, and now he has been at Orr since junior year, but he did not play against Lane last year due to an injury, so this is his first time facing off against many of his teammates. And then finally, rounding out the starting lineup for the Spartans will be number 22, Jordan Ligowski, a 6'5 senior power forward. So there you hear it, the 6'5 and the 6'7 for Orr in Hanna and Ligowski, and Lane Tech only has 6'6 Basil to counter that. So Lane Tech going to have to find some way to either crash the paint and get blocks down there despite the height mismatch, or really keep this Orr team from the three-point perimeter. The problem with that, though, is Cameron Lawin, one of the top three-point shooters, I think you can say, in the state. He's been extremely impressive this season from 3. Had kind of a quiet performance Wednesday night against North Lawndale, but he'll hope to make it up against his former team tonight. 8 minutes on the clock, and we should be ready to go for tip-off in just a couple of seconds. Alex Bursting on the call here for some Friday night Red Northwest Conference action. Decent crowd on hand, not super crowded, but some fans coming out, the Orr cheerleaders, and looks like we're ready for tip-off. In the middle to start things off, it'll be number 24, Lucas Basil, and for Lane Tech, and number 22, Jordan Ligowski for the Spartans. Looks like Basil has an inch on him, just as the lineup said. Ref standing near midcourt, and we'll be ready to go in just a second or two. Lane Tech looking to get to 5-2 and clinch an over 500 record in conference play, or looking to keep their perfect conference record alive. Ref talking to the players, and we're just about ready to go here. Basil wins the tip-off, and we're underway here at Orr Academy. Malloy will get the ball to start things off for Lane Tech. Malloy's probably been the most consistent player for Lane Tech this year as he heads to his left-hand side. Picked up his dribble a little too early here as Basil comes in, as we mentioned, with the height mismatch, misses the 2. and Orr will get the ball back. First touches of the night for the Spartans here as McCarthy will hold it near the top of the three-point line. 7:30 to go in quarter number 1. Thanks for joining us. Driving on the left-hand side, going up for 2, no good, but will grab the foul is number 11, Davion McCarthy. Off the pass from Leonte Lilly, and chance for the first points here tonight for either team. As the first free throw on its way, no good off the back of the rim from McCarthy. McCarthy doesn't always get super high point scores, but he finds a way to get in the score column. He had 2.7 rebounds and 2 assists, so he usually out-rebounds his scores, as the second free throw is good, and Orr will strike first tonight. They lead 1-0 with 7:26 to go in quarter number 1. Shahid Salibo, the star for this Lane Tech team, gets his first touches tonight. He's really come into his own these last couple of weeks, starting at the Maine East Holiday Tournament. He pulls for 3 and splashes it in the face of his defender, and Lane Tech on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Orr cutting up the middle, and that's going to be good. McCarthy with a hot start tonight. He has all 3 for Orr, and it is all tied up at 3. Apologies, folks. We'll get the scoreboard working in a second, and should be good to go now. 3-3 the score, 6:50 to go in quarter number 1. Malloy under the basket, misses it, gets his own rebound though. Now goes up for 2 and a big block there, but underneath the basket, Goonan gets it. Second chance from Goonan, no good. And Malloy comes up with it, so a third chance here for Lane Tech. 6:37 to go in the first. Saliba with the basketball. He's going to get into the paint, pass it out to Basil, the big man playing on the perimeter. Goonan pulls for 3 from the corner, can't get it to go, and Orr will get it back all tied up at 3 here. McCarthy, he's been hot, loses his dribble though. Kind of threw it off the backboard, and they're going to say it went off of Basil there, and Lane Tech Orr will keep possession here. Inbounding it will be Caleb Hanna. We have not seen a lot out of the star early here tonight, as they'll get the inbound to Lilly. Lilly driving the baseline, and they're going to call a jump ball. Nice hands there from Ethan Grunebaum, getting them on the driving basketball, and Lane Tech will get it. Possession arrow points towards Lane with 6:12 to go in the first quarter. And now the referees are going to say possession arrow is actually for the Spartans. So Orr's going to keep possession. Miscommunication there, but the Spartans get it. And they're going to try to take the lead here. Lawn pulls for his first 3 tonight and gets it. That's what we were talking about in pregame, folks. Cameron Lawn just cannot miss from 3. He has his first points of the night, and it's a 6-3 lead for Lane Tech. For Orr with under 6 to play. Malloy with it, trying for a response 3. Can't get to go off the left-hand side. On Wednesday night against Westinghouse, it was one of the worst 3-point performances I think we've seen from Lane Tech so far this season. If they want to contend in this game, they are going to need to turn that around. This is a really potent Orr team because, as you see, they have some size. They can score inside, but they also have the 3-point threat from their guards, and Cameron Lawn especially right there, as Hannah, playing from the perimeter, gets it to Lawn. Lawn now drives right-hand side, misses the layup, rebounded by Salibo. He's off to the races. 2-on-1, Salibo gives it off to Goonan, can't catch it though, and he'll give it back out to Salibo. Now goes up for 2, he misses it, and Orr will get it back. So we've hit kind of a slow spot here, as a foul is going to be no foul called, just the mask fell off of Shahid Salibo, so he'll put it back on, and Orr will reset things, taking it from the far side of the court. They have the length of the court to go. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 6-3, Lane Tech on trailing the Orr Spartans. Haven't seen scoring in a couple of seconds from either team, as Lawn hits his second 3 of the night. He's up to 6, and the Orr lead is up to 6 here in quarter number 1. Cam Lawn playing excellent against his former team to start things off tonight, and a steal here from Hannah. Pushing the pace is Lilly. He goes up for 2 and gets it, and the Orr Spartans offense is rolling. They're up 11-3. Timeout called by head coach Nicholas Legalbo of Lane Tech. That's the first timeout we've called today. We do not see Legalbo call timeouts in the first quarter that often, but he will use one with 4:35 to go. A big momentum booster there for Orr. Cameron Lawn with 6 points so far tonight. Very impressive so far from him and his whole team getting together around him to score some more points. It's an 8-point Orr lead with 4:35 to go in the first quarter. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Orr Academy. As we mentioned, that's going to be the problem tonight for Lane Tech. Orr can score on so many levels, and even if you look at the individual players, like Caleb Hanna, he can shoot the three and he can drive, and they have so many players like that who just are really able to score on all three levels, and as a team they can do that, and that is going to be a problem for Lane Tech if they do not find a way to stop that offense from the Spartans. It will be Lane Tech basketball out of the timeout. Full court press here from Orr, and it's going to work beautifully off the hands of Malloy into the Spartans. And Lilly will hold things here. 4:20 to go in the first. Lilly takes it to the top of the key, being guarded by Salibo. A little bit of a size mismatch there, but Lilly's really quick, and a foul's going to be called on Ethan Grunebaum with 4:15 to go in the first quarter. And Orr will get it underneath their scoring basket. Hanna inbounding it. When you have one of your tallest guys inbounding it, it means you can really shoot the ball because they're not going to try to get it into the paint off the inbound. Driving in McCarthy. One basket so far tonight. Can't make it two. The tip-in almost good. Two tip-ins almost make it, but they miss from Hanna and McCarthy. And Lane Tech will get it back, trying to cut into this early 8-point lead for the Spartans. 3:50 to go in the first quarter as Grunebaum loses it, gets it back. Nice second chance hustle there from Ethan Grunebaum, and it will go off of the Spartans, and that will be a mass timeout. 11-3 the score. Lane Tech trailing Orr early in this one, 3:47 to go. So as we mentioned, Lane Tech lost on Wednesday against Westinghouse, and that was probably their best chance to win a game. Obviously, you can't count Lane out of any game. They've won 14 of them this year. They're a very solid ball club, but Orr is a very tough matchup. They've been ranked top 25 some of this season, not currently, but they've played a very tough schedule. They've played some tough teams, and they know how to play ball. Then on Monday, they play Clark, another team that's just outside the top 25, and then they play Whitney, number 6 in the state, or Chicagoland area, I should say, on Wednesday night. So back-to-back-to-back, very tough games for Lane Tech as they try to pull off at least one victory. They were 4-1 to start conference play. Now they're 4-2. You could easily see them going to at least 5 or 6 wins, but there's also a chance they drop all of them and they end the season with a losing conference record, which would not be great for seeding. Luckily for them, they've already clinched a spot to stay up in the red this year. There's a little bit of a battle down at the bottom of the red. We'll talk about that more at halftime of who's going to stay up and who's going to head down to the white division. But still, Lane Tech would like to grab at least a win or two from these final 3 conference games. Long pass out to Malloy. He jumps and gets it. 3:45 to go as play resumes in the first quarter. Kind of a long first quarter of action here at Orr. As Grunebaum pulls up on Law, and that's going to be a tough matchup for Grunebaum tonight. As they'll push it, Lawn fell while shooting the 3. No contact here from Grunebaum, and Lane Tech will get the basketball back. Lane wanted to travel on that one, but they'll say it was just a trip for Lawn, and he didn't travel. And we'll have our first sub into the game as Lagorowski will check out, and coming into the game at number 24, Tremel Green, the 6'7" junior forward. So when you can replace someone 6'5" with someone 6'7", that's always a good sign. As going in and getting the 2 is Sean Malloy. He gets his first bucket of the night, and Lane Tech has scored for the first time in about 3 minutes. They cut the deficit to 6 here. Lilly calling out his plays, or with a slow pace, looks like they're going to have a set play here. Taking some seconds off the clock. Lilly reverses it to McCarthy in the corner of the lawn. Now back. A nice alley-oop attempt there. Hanna won't get it, but goes up for the layup. Couldn't score on the highlight play, but will get the layup to go, and that's all that matters. Points on the scoreboard for Orr, and it's an 8-point Lane Tech lead with 2:40 to go in the first. Jack Soar into the game for Lane Tech, almost loses it. He is in for Stephen Goonan. Also, Will Rosenkrantz checks into the game for Lane Tech. As Malloy on the left-hand side scored his last time down the court, can't score this time. Basil with the rebound. He goes up and gets stripped cleanly. And Orr has numbers here, but they'll decide to slow it down and run a play. Lilly, far side, top of the key, brings it out towards near midcourt. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite arenas, gymnasiums, whatever you want to call it, in the Chicago Public League. Was here for the breast cancer shootout Lane played in 2 years ago, and just great energy and just a great gymnasium as the three from Caleb Hanna is good. Ran into head coach Nicholas Legalbo of Lane Tech after making the shot, and now an 11-point Lane or lead over Lane. Under 2 to play in the first. Rosenkrantz on the far side. Lane needs this one, won't get it. And extending for the rebound is Green there. 1:40 now to play, or looking to cushion their lead up by double digits in the first. We'll have 2 subs into the game soon for Lane Tech, Joseph Perona and Parker Springer. Down low, they try to get to Hanna. They'll say it goes off of Malloy, and Orr will keep possession. Also, Shahid Salibo checking into the game for so 3 subs. Jack Soar, Ethan Grunenbaum, and Lucas Basil come out. Soar in there for just a couple of minutes. Looks like he's still playing limited time after missing Tuesday's game, as they'll inbound it far there to McCarthy. McCarthy had a free throw and a layup in the first minute or 2 of this game. He's been kind of quiet since. 1:15 to go in the first. Lawn, far side, tried for the step back 3. Instead, is going to pass it off. McCarthy, speaking of him, drives to the basket, can't get it to go, and Lane will get it back. Lane really wants a basket here, down by 11. Salibo takes it himself and gets the finish. Almost looked like it was goaltending there with some nice defense from Oregon all the way up to the basket. They have a lot of defenders who can play up to the rim. But Lane will get the points, and they've cut it back to a single-digit lead. Hanna with it, gets double-teamed from Malloy and Salibo. They leave Law open, though. You can't have that if you're Lane Tech. Luckily for them, they miss, but I would expect Lane to stay in a man-to-man or at least a tight zone, as the 3 from Rosenkrantz is good. After a strong holiday tournament, he'd been quiet the last couple of games, and he hits his first 3 attempt of the day. 20 seconds to go, and just like that, it's a 6-point lead. Driving up the middle, Lilly gets it to Hanna. Hanna driving the baseline. He goes up for 2, and he's going to get a charge called against him. A little bit of a momentum booster for Lane Tech, and they have a chance to cut it to a 1-possession game with a 3 here. 12.2 to play in the first quarter. Perona will inbound it to Malloy as they try to run one last play. Now 10 seconds on the clock. Malloy goes to his right-hand side, gets to the basket, can't finish, rebounded by Hanna. 4 seconds on the clock. He's going to have the chance for one last shot, pulls for 3, can't get it to go, and that will bring us to the end of 1. So Orr got ahead as many as 11, but it will be a 6-point lead for Orr entering the second quarter of play. We'll be back in just a second. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech basketball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. We enter the second quarter of play here at Orr Academy High School. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here for some Friday night Red Northwest Conference action. Cam Lawn, the Lane Tech transfer, was 6 points tonight for the Spartans. Looked as if Orr might run away with it for a second there in the first quarter. However, a nice little comeback from Lane to cut it to a 6-point lead in anyone's game heading into the second 8 minutes of play here at Orr. We'll see who breaks the huddle for both these teams. Lane Tech had a couple subs. I think just 1 sub possibly the entire quarter for Orr. They might have some players not playing tonight when I was asking about their roster, they struck a couple of guys. A sub into the game for Orr right now, that'll be Martez Jackson, the 6'1 sophomore guard, gained some minutes here. He's played a little bit throughout the season as they'll get it near far side here to Salibo. Top the key, Springer, 7:50 to go in the second. Lane Tech looking to get into the 6-point deficit, and Joseph Perona will do it. A nice basket there and finish from the senior. 16-12 now, 4-point lead for Orr. Jackson gets his first touches of the day, passes it to Lilly. Lilly with the floater, can't get it. Hannah there for the putback, he can't get it, and rebounded by Malloy. So Lane gives up no points there. The long pass to Perona tried to save it, and it will go into the hands of Jackson. Now Lilly tipped, and we're just going back and forth here in the second quarter between these two teams. Rosenkrantz made 1-3, decides to go in for the layup, and what a finish. Finger roll there for the senior, and it's a 2-point game with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Jackson with it. The Lane Tech crowd getting loud here in the second quarter. Lawn being tightly defended there by Springer. Interesting matchup. They dish it down low. Going up for two is Hannah. He's missed a couple in a row, but Orr will get a second shot at it. Lawn gives it far side to Jackson. Jackson fakes the three, drives in. Would be a crazy finish. Can't get it to go, but he will shoot two. Foul called against Lane Tech. So it'll be 2 free throws on the way from the sophomore. Martez Jackson came in to start this second quarter. Been pretty effective off the ball, but still looking for those first points tonight. Hannah had this crazy score line against Yates from Texas earlier this year, and he scores the first free throw. But he recorded in the points, rebounds, assists, and steals 2 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. Not crazy numbers in any of them, but he can really do a little bit of everything. A multi-tooled player. 17-14 the score as Jackson goes 2 for 2 from the line and the lead back up to 4 for Orr. Felibo's going to inbound it. Full court press here with 3 guys, and the pass from Malloy way too high. Head coach Nicholas Lagarbo tells his star senior to calm it down a little bit, and Orr will get it back, trying to extend this 4-point lead. Alex Burston on the call here from Orr Academy High School. 6:30 to go in the second quarter as Jackson passes it down low to Hannah, and they are going to call a jump ball. So Sean Malloy got his hands on it. It will stay with Orr, but a nice defensive effort there from Lane Tech. That's the second one. 1 for Grunebaum in the first quarter, 1 from Malloy, as they're going to inbound it to Jackson. We're right near the court side here, so you can see how this Orr team play, and they just play so quickly with the ball. It's really impressive as Hannah airballs it. He was strong in the first quarter, but has struggled a little bit here, and they're going to call it off of Lane Tech, or will keep possession, so they'll have a third try at it. That's not mine. 18-14, 6:06 to go in the second quarter. Hannah will inbound it, get to Jackson. Jackson fakes the three. And now goes in. They'll pass it right into the hands of Malloy. Another turnover here for Lane Tech. One of the hottest parts of this Lane Tech team, as Rosenkrantz misses a 3-point attempt, has been their ability to force turnovers. And even against a top team like Orr here, they're doing it well as Hannah finally gets back on the scoreboard. And Orr is the first team to hit the 20-point mark. They lead by 6, under 6 to play in the second quarter. Rosenkrantz driving, goes up for 2, and he has a 7-point performance already tonight as the lead down to 4 for the Spartans. And a turnover here off the hands of Jackson as he tripped. Malloy goes in, tried to draw the contact, he'll get it, and will head to line for 2. Ligogowski there on the foul, back into the game for the Spartans, and Malloy will have 2 free throws to try to add to his total and cut into this lead. It could be a 1-possession game if he makes at least one of these 2. Anthony Zanders, the senior for Lane Tech, will check in after the first one, as well as Ethan Grunebaum. So first minutes of the day for Zanders, and Grunebaum comes in after a short rest. Rosenkrantz and Perona take a quick seat as the second free throw from Malloy underway in a second. He had 15 against Westinghouse, so he'll add 1 more to his total here. It's a 3-point game, 5:22 to go in the second quarter. Jackson with it. Far side gets it to Lawn. 6 points there for the shooter tonight. Trying to make it 9 here. Can't get it. Goes off of the rim, and Lane Tech will get it back. Just a 3-point game now. They could tie it up here with a 3. In the corner, they're going to call a step out of bounds there by Grunebaum. There's a lot of yellow and beige going on here. I can imagine as a player, it could be a little tough to see what is inbounds and what is not, as Cam Lawn will take a seat on the bench for the first time tonight. Davion McCarthy comes back in for the Spartans. 3-point Lane Tech trailing Orr here as the quick 2 on its way. No good from McCarthy. Underneath the basket, though, Ligowowski gets a quick 2 and the lead back up for Orr to 5. Lane Tech playing a fast course offense down the court. Malloy pulls from the free throw line. Can't get it. That will go off of the Spartans. And Lane Tech will keep possession. Just over 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Grunebaum catches it, pulls, can't get, oh, and he gets it. It's a lucky bounce there from Ethan Grunebaum, and it's a 2-point game. I was ready to say a rebound for one of these teams, but it bounces back into the basket, and it's a 2-point game, closest it's been in a while between these two teams. Hannah with it on the far side, gets it into McCarthy. They'll get it to Jackson. Looks like Lane Tech in the zone here. They'll get it back, and the missed shot by McCarthy, but the one-handed putback. Nice play there, and the Orr lead up to 4 now. Grunebaum with it. Looks like this could be a back and forth rest of the game as Hannah forces the steal, doesn't have numbers, goes up for 2, and they're going to call a foul. And 1! He was taking that from around the 3-point line, and there's going to be a technical foul called against Lane Tech head coach Nicholas Legalbo. So this is going to be 1 free throw, then 2 more, and then possession for the Spartans, I believe. Legalbo did not like the and 1 call from how far Hannah was throwing, picked up his dribble. And now Hannah will have the chance to really extend this Orr lead. It was just 2 minutes a couple of seconds ago. Now it's up to 6, and it could be as big as 9 after these 3 free throw attempts. I believe that's what the ref's going to do because of the and 1 plus the 2 free throws from the technical. One of the first technicals we've seen, possibly the first technical we've seen all year against Lane Tech. Not called a lot. As the first shot on its way in a second here from Hannah. He's got it. And after a couple of slow minutes for Hannah, he's kind of heated up here in the past couple to up his point total and get Orr back in the commanding lead here, up by 7 with 3:52 to go. Lon will check back in a second after the very short time on the bench. He'll come in for Hannah, and they're going to... They checked Hannah out, but I'm pretty sure he has to take the free throw. Yeah, so the refs are going to have him come back in. I don't think the substitution is going to be allowed. Now they're going to send him back to the bench. The referees are talking it over. So Hannah took 2 free throws with no one in the paint or no one getting ready to rebound. So I assume those 2 are the technical fouls. There should be 1 more shot, and Hannah was fouled while shooting it. He heads to the bench, but it's technically his free shot. And usually, I mean, you're not allowed to have a sub take it for you. So we'll see what happens. Refs still talking it over. 2 referees for tonight's contest. And now they're going to go over to have a word with the 2 coaches, Lewis Adams from Orr and Nicholas Legalbo from Lane, 2 of the more well-known coaches here in the Chicago Public League. Obviously, good player matchup tonight, but a very good coaching matchup. Very well might come down to who can drop the better plays in tonight's contest. It's an 8-point Orr lead, 28-20 with 3:52 to go in the first half. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burson on the call here. And now Hannah's going to come back into the game. So I don't know if they're giving possession to Orr because of the nature of the technical while on the and 1. We'll see what they do. Lane Tech looks ready to rebound. But regardless, looks like Hannah is going to take the free throw after going 2 for 2 from the line. Looks like the scoreboard still has 26. So we'll see. It's either an 8-point or a 6-point lead right now. We'll put it at 26 for the second and see what happens after the next score. 3:52 to go. And they're going to send the Lane Tech players back. So it's going to be, it looks like the 3rd free throw and then possession for Orr is what I believe. as the first free throw is good. Oh, so maybe they're having him do it again? Referee still talking over. Confusing sequence of events here. Now the scoreboard is going to go to 27, and it looks like he's going to take another one. So I think he did make 2. Then they took them off the scoreboard. Now they're having Hannah do it again, as the second free throw is good. He's made 4. 2 of them have counted here in a row. He's going to get a third shot at it, and then it should be Orr possession. So the Spartans will lead by at least 8 and have possession and make it 9, as Caleb Hannah perfect from the free throw line, 29-20, and Spartans possession near midcourt. Now Cameron Lawn will check in for Caleb Hannah. So refs get it all sorted out. Hannah had to take a couple extra free throws, but it doesn't matter. He makes them all either way. And Orr will get it back, and a travel is going to be called on Jackson there, as he was just near midcourt. Wasn't any tight defense or anything from Lane Tech. He was just playing a little too fast. And checking into the game for Orr for the first time tonight, Danny Sims, the 6'4 junior shooting guard. Grunenbaum gets it to Basil, playing at top the key. Basil not playing down low as much as we've seen him do the past couple of games tonight. Salibo near side, goes up the middle, tries to draw the foul, goes up for the crazy 2, can't get it to go, but will get the foul called, and he'll try to cut into this 9-point lead with 2 shots from the line. 3:33 to go in the second quarter. Lane Tech playing Grunenbaum and Zanders in the backcourt. Basil and Malloy down low for the rebound, and Stephen Goonan will check in for Zanders there. Goonan has seen an increase in minutes since he broke into the starting lineup earlier this week. It was originally an injury for Jack Soar. He's back now, but looks as if Goonan just earning a little more playing time as he's stuck in the starting lineup. And 0 for 2 from the free throw line there, and Orr will get it back. So Lane Tech has 2 free shots and a possible rebound. They can't do anything off of it. And Orr can make it double digits once again for the first time since the first quarter. 11 is the biggest lead for either team, belonging to the Orr Spartans in the first quarter, as Lilly, nice little fake, gets it to Lawn. Almost contact there from Malloy, and this is going to be a foul called against number 22, Jordan Ligowski, and Lane Tech gets it back, so no damage done there. Lane Tech holds on and keeps it from being a double-digit Spartans lead. Grunenbaum quickly, that's a tough matchup for him. They have a lot of tough guys guarding Grunenbaum tonight, or in their man-to-man defense, as Malloy passes out to Goonan here. Looked like Goonan wasn't ready for it, but gets 2 hands on it and passes it out to Salibo. Salibo, right-hand side. He tried to bounce past to Goonan, can't get it to go. And Orr off to the races. Lilly goes up for 2, and he'll get fouled. A lot of fouls here, and it's been a very long last minute of play. 2:50 to go, so from about 3:50 to 2:50 with that whole free throw fiasco and a couple of fouls, it's been a long 60 seconds of play here at Orr. First free throw on its way, and that one's good from Lilly. As we mentioned, Lilly just listed at 5'8", but he's been such a big part of this Orr team this year. Had 16 points to lead all Orr scores in the last game last game Orr had against North Lawndale, as the lead now up to 11 once again for Orr. Last time this happened, Lane Tech was able to respond with a couple of baskets. It was as close as 2 points Orr lead here in the second quarter, and that's going to be another foul called. So Lane Tech's defense just a little too aggressive for the officials' likings here tonight, as Will Rosenkrantz will check in for Lucas Basil. So kind of a small ball lineup, and that is going to be the 7th team foul, and Orr will be in the bonus here. It'll be Leonte Lilly shooting a 1-and-1. Checking into the game, Caleb Hannah for Danny Sims. Just a couple of minutes for Danny Sims. I don't think he touched the ball, but he'll check back out. Orr doesn't really have any scheduled changes, it seems. Lane Tech, usually it's the same couple of guys who go in and out for each other, but Hannah's gone in for guys, Lawn's gone in for guys. It's just, there's change based on whatever they want. Lane Tech thought they had possession there, but it's a 1-and-1, so Lilly will have one more chance at it. 32-30, 12-point Spartans lead, and make it 13. Or very impressive with the free throws tonight, something that's haunted Lane Tech so far this season, as a bad pass off the hands of Malloy, and they are going to say possession goes towards, I assume they were going to give it to Orr, but the fans were yelling. I checked, and it's going to be Lane Tech basketball. So Lane with a lucky break there. Steven Goonan will inbound it. Doesn't really have a man open, but gets it to Malloy here in the backcourt, being guarded by Hannah. That's just a tough matchup for Malloy, who really likes to drive to the basket, as the two from Grunewald is good. Looks like he silenced the Orr bench there on the other side, and the lead down to 11 for Orr. 2:12 to play in the first half. Lilly with it. He's been productive the last couple of minutes. Rosenkrantz comes on. Now they'll switch Goonan onto him. Pull-up jumper, no good. Rebounded by Rosenkrantz, and Lane Tech looking to make it back to a single-digit lead for Orr. Malloy with it, going up the middle. Goes up for two. Tried for the finish, can't get it. Malloy has not been getting a lot of those calls. Early in the season he was, as the missed layup here rebounded by Rosenkrantz. But early in the season, we saw him go to the free throw line a lot more than he has the last couple of games, as Grunewald will take it up the court by himself here. 1:33 to go in the second quarter. Malloy with it, gets it to Solibo. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burson on the call here from Orr. Solibo will head to the line again. Missed both of his free throws his last trip to the line. He'll hope to change that fortune here and get it back to a single-digit lead for Orr. Currently an 11-point lead for the Spartans. Head coach Nicholas Lagarbo conferencing with three of his players right now. He has Will Rosenkrantz, Sean Malloy, and Ethan Grunewald all over here in the bottom on the right-hand side of your screen, as Solibo makes the first free throw. Finally makes one of those tonight and makes it a 10-point game. Lane Tech is only going to have one guy rebounding, so if he misses it, it's almost definitely going to be Orr basketball, unless Goonan can somehow pull off a miracle rebound. As the second free throw, no good, and Orr, as we thought, will get it. 1:20 to go, 80 seconds in the first half, as Orr tries to extend their lead. 10 points currently the lead for the Spartans. They get to Lawton. Lawton's been quiet here in the second quarter after making two big threes in the first. He gives it off to Lilly, being guarded by Malloy here. Malloy, really good defensive player for Lane Tech. Gets a screen to his right, gets a screen to his left, Lilly goes to his right. Lilly dancing around, pulls from the free throw line and drains it. Nice shot there from Leonte Lilly. And Orr gets it back up to 12. 44 seconds on the clock. We'll see if Lane tries to hurry it up, get some points on the scoreboard, or if they hold for a final shot. They've done it both ways this season. Rosenkrantz, in-your-face three, air ball. Must have been some contact there, and we'll say Lilly caught it, and his heel must have been on the ground. So an unlucky break there for the senior captain, and Lane Tech will get possession, and it will be a timeout called by Lane. So Lane calls two timeouts here in the first half. I don't believe any called by the Spartans. And it will be a 35-23 lead. So it looked like this might be a back and forth game. It was as small as a 2-point lead for Orr just a couple of minutes ago. But Orr, they hit a couple of key baskets. They've kind of been distributing the scoring well. A couple guys scoring here, a couple guys scoring there. And it's worked well for the Spartans, as they lead by 12, just over half a minute to go in the first half. Lane Tech's really going to have to come out shooting in the second half if they want to stay in this game, because just a couple of baskets and Orr could pull away in this one. Definitely easy to see that happening, as they'll break the huddle with looks like the same five for both teams, and it will be Lane Tech basketball underneath their scoring basket. Sean Malloy will inbound it. Malloy being guarded by Hannah here. Long pass to Solibo. He gets it. 35-23. 30 seconds to go. Solibo pulls for three. Made one of these in the first quarter. Won't get it in the second. Malloy after the offensive rebound from Rosenkrantz. 20 seconds now. Looks like Lane holding for the final shot. Nice defense here from McCarthy. Far side, Rosenkrantz with it back to Solibo. Now 10 seconds on the clock. Looks like Solibo is going to take it. Gets a screen to his left. Did not have the shot he wanted. Out to Malloy. So kind of like a steal by Orr. Malloy gets it. Step back three at the buzzer. Won't get it to go. And that is going to bring us to the end of one half of play. Lane Tech stuck in it, but a couple of late baskets by the Spartans put them up by 12 heading into the halftime break. 35-23 your score. Lane Tech trailing the Spartans. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to recap the first half of action and get you ready for the second 16 minutes of play, as well as take you around the Red Northwest here on the final Friday night of conference action. We'll be back in just a second. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech basketball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Halftime here at Orr Academy High School, 35-23. Lane Tech trails the Orr Spartans heading into the second 16 minutes of play. Orr just got out here very quickly. They took 2.5 minutes to talk with their coaches, and now they're back practicing. So we'll send you to the court to watch them warm up. Orr has been hot offensively, 35 points through the first 16 minutes of play. They'll be on pace for 70 heading into the second half of play, and if they can keep that up, looks like they will be advancing another win in conference play. It's a busy night of conference action across the Chicagoland area and the Red Northwest Conference tonight. So it'll be Young taking on North Lawndale at Whitney Young tonight at 6:30. That should be a fun one. North Lawndale just narrowly lost to Orr on Wednesday. That was a really weird score. As you've seen tonight, Orr can score pretty easily. They put up 35 in the first half. We've talked about how they can score at so many levels, but they only put up 47 points in a win over North Lawndale on Wednesday. North Lawndale just put up 44, so a 3-point victory for the Spartans on Wednesday. Now they're going to have another talk with their players. So Orr talked it over in the locker room, then came back out on the court, and now they're going to have another word with one of their coaches. Some of the players shooting around, some of them talking together. But as we mentioned, that is the other game going around at 6:30. The other ones all starting at 5 p.m. tonight, so we'll possibly see some finals running through here tonight. We'll see the first game of the first 5 o'clock game was Clark at Schurz at 5 p.m. Expect Clark to win that one. Schurz has had some trouble in conference play this year, but you never know. Westinghouse at Marshall at 5. Marshall beat Lincoln Park earlier this week. It was a big win for Marshall there, who beat Lane Tech 2. So they got 2 wins in conference play. That might be enough to keep them up. And then finally, Lincoln Park hosting Farragut. I believe that Lincoln Park won that one. So big win for the Lions in the race to stay up. Speaking of the race to stay up, it's close here in the Red Northwest. We're going to see 2 teams go down. Looks like Schurz is going to be one of them, but that second team, it's up in the air. Farragut's on thin ice here. They have 2 wins, and if this result from Lincoln Park at Farragut's correct, then it's going to be Farragut, Marshall, and Lincoln Park all with 2 wins here in conference play heading into the final week of conference. It also depends on the Marshall-Westinghouse results, so we'll see there, but we can definitely get into tiebreakers there. So now we see that Lincoln Park owns the tiebreaker over Farragut. Not sure about the other matchups between those 2 teams, but that is going to be fun to watch as we head into the second, as we head into the final week of the regular season here in the Chicago Public League. The way it works, Lane Tech will finish conference play. They'll have 1 non-conference game. Then they'll have city playoffs. Then they're going to return for a short time to play some regular season games, non-conference, and then they'll be back in action in the state playoffs. Regionals, Lane Tech not hosting the regional this year. I know Whitney is. That would be a tough regional for Lane Tech. Depends where they get sent near the end of February. As we mentioned, it's a busy week upcoming for Lane Tech. Clark on Monday, Whitney Young on Wednesday. That's always one of the most packed games of the year for Lane Gymnasium. And then Northside on Friday at 6 p.m. And then after the playoffs, they'll be facing off against St. Ignatius. That'll be a tough one for Lane, a good test for them, a top 25 team. I think they broke into the top 25 or near top 25. They were really highly ranked at the start of the season, have struggled a little bit, but we'll see what they can do against Lane Tech. And then they added a Maine East game on Max Prep, so Lane Tech might be playing Maine East again. They played them in the Blue Demons, in a makeup game because they lost the Niles West game a couple of weeks ago. Lane Tech back on the court with just 1:15 to go. That was one of the the longest times I've seen Lane Tech meet in the locker room so far this year. Usually with Lane, they are back usually with at least 5 minutes left to get some shots in, but there was just a minute on the clock, so they are not going to have a lot of time. A couple of players just sitting on the bench watching as some of the other guys get some shots in. Lane Tech's going to need to make some of these shots fall in game, down by 12 as we enter the second half of play. All year this year, Lane Tech's been going with their starting 5 to start off the second half as well as the first half, so expect it to be Sean Malloy, Ethan Grunebaum, Shahid Salibo, Stephen Goonan, and Lucas Basil to start things off. Looking at the roster, Lane Tech now has number 22, 23, and 24 all in order starting in their lineup, with Stephen Goonan coming into the starting 5 this week. As for Orr, if they go with their same 5, it'll be Caleb Hanna, Davion McCarthy, Cameron Lawn, Jordan Ligowowski, and missing one, Leonte Lilly, your starting 5 for the Spartans. And it looks like that will be the 5 on the court for Orr as we enter this third frame of play between Lane Tech and Orr. 8 minutes on the clock. This should be a fun one between Lane Tech and Orr. Lane needs a couple of shots to stay in this one. However, if Orr comes out of the gate shooting, this one could be over in the third quarter. It'll be Orr basketball going from left to right on your screen to start off the third quarter. Lane in their home greens will be going from right to left. McCarthy, who had a strong first quarter, spin move, gets in there, misses the shot though. Rebounded by McCarthy though. He goes up again and draws the jump ball. Nice effort there from Lane Tech to not get the foul and instead get the jump ball, and possession arrow will go towards Lane after Orr started off the quarter. So nice start to the quarter for Lane Tech. We'll see if they can do something offensively with the ball. Grunebaum here gets it to Salibo on the near side. Salibo driving in near the free throw line, takes a couple of steps back. 7:30 to go. Salibo pulls, drains it. Shahid Salibo started off his his first quarter with a 3 like that, and he hits a big one for Lane Tech here to start the third. 35-26, under a 10-point lead for Orr. Hannah with it on the far side. 7:14 on the clock. Gets in. Finds an open McCarthy. Does not take the three, though. Instead will call a play. He's backing in the Goonan here. Nice move. McCarthy spins and gets it. Too easy there for Davion McCarthy, and Orr gets back on top by 11. So Lebo has been the second half man for Lane Tech this year, especially in the third quarter as Basil misses the two. But you imagine you want Salibo to be taking some shots here as Grunbaum takes a dead center three and gets it. The three ball coming alive here for Lane Tech in the third quarter. It's 37-29, an 8-point game. Alex Burson on the call here from Lane Tech Gymnasium. Lilly with it. Hasn't scored a lot this game, but as point guard, he's had a pretty big role in this Orr lead. As Lawn flicks it back out to Lilly. 6:15 to go. Lilly gets past Grunbaum. Nice move to the basket, and a foul will be called. 2 free throws incoming for the senior captain. Leonte Lilly, the 5'8" senior point guard / shooting guard, coming off of one of his bigger performances this year. He had a big-time game against North Lawndale with 16 points, as he'll try to get this to a double-digit lead again. Orr has just been so impressive with free throws. I don't know if it's natural or if they practice a lot in practice, but they have just been so good today at getting the ball into the basket from the charity stripe, and he'll have one more shot at it, and that one is good as well. So 2 for 2 once again from Leonte Lilly, and the lead up to 10 for the Spartans. So Lebo running the point now. We didn't see that a lot in the first quarter. Gets to the basket, can't finish. Rebounded here by Lilly. Makes the free throws, and now is off to the races. Passes it off. A steal here from Malloy. So Lebo wide open. Gets the lay-in, can't get it to go. Fingertips there from Salibo, and he misses the basket by about an inch. 5:45 to go, and Hannah with a quick response too. And looked like Lane Tech might have a little bit of momentum there for a second, but Orr a couple of quick baskets, and the lead back up to 12 for the Spartans. Big screen there from Basil, and the three is good. 41-32, under 5:32 to play. Whenever it looks like Orr could run away with this, Lane Tech is staying in it as best as they can. Currently a 9-point Orr lead. McCarthy backing it in. Spin move, passes it out. We've seen McCarthy do that twice here in the third quarter. We didn't see that much in the first and second from him, but McCarthy using his size here in the second half. Hannah, after making the two, fakes the three, and now will back things up. He's been impressive tonight. NBA range three, misses it. Rebounded from Ligowowski. He has another chance at it. Whoa, almost a big dunk there from Ligowowski, and a full timeout is going to be called by Orr. I believe their first tonight. He just flew in there, got above the entire Lane Tech defense, but it will be no good off the rim, and Lane Tech will get the I believe Lane Tech will get the basketball. Might have been a foul on Lane. We'll see out of the timeout. But 41-32, nice job from Lane there to keep the Spartans off of the scoreboard. Once again, trying to keep this under a 10-point lead. It just seems in basketball, obviously the difference between a 9-point game and a 12-point game isn't that much, but especially with these Lane Tech games, once you get above double digits, it's just a lot harder to come back. Or they've been leading for much of the game, but they have not gotten ahead by more than 12, which has been really impressive from the Lane Tech defense. Or obviously scoring a little more at ease than Lane Tech, but they are staying in this one. 4:47 to go. We'll have a mass timeout in a minute as well, so a little bit of game stoppage here in the third. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Orr Academy High School for some Friday night prep hoops in Illinois. Always fun matchups when these happen. Shahid Salibo, the leading scorer right now for Lane Tech. Sean Malloy's been mostly quiet today. Lane Tech's going to need a big performance here from him in the next 12 or 13 minutes. Unless another player can step up to get back into this one. It was Orr Spartans basketballs. It must have gone off of Lane Tech, off the block. or foul. And Lilly will get it here, top the key. Gets it to McCarthy. McCarthy pulls for two and gets it. He cannot be stopped here in the third quarter. Big shot there for Orr to get them back up by 11. Lane Tech playing a lot quicker here from the third pace. If it works for them, it works for them, but they have to make sure that they play mistake-free basketball here as Malloy, who as we mentioned needs to kind of step up for Lane here in the third, gets a quick two. I believe his first points of the half. McCarthy with it. Orr got the ball quickly down the court very fast. I thought they were still bringing it up, but McCarthy has it under the basket. Excuse me, no, that two from Caleb Hanna looked like McCarthy had it, but Hanna, I believe, puts it in for two, and the lead up to 11 for Orr now. So whenever Lane Tech gets a basket, seems like Orr has a response, and they are going to call a travel. Solibo tried to dish it out to Rosenkrantz, but the whistles will blow, and Orr will get it back here in their home gymnasium. 3:42 to go. Probably could have been called a mass timeout there, but they'll wait for the next dead ball. Lawn. Nice handles here from the senior. Blows past Malloy for the finish. Gets it to go. Cameron Lawn. Wow, we've seen him score from three tonight, but shows off his handles there. And Orr out to their biggest lead tonight, 13. A blocking foul called there either on McCarthy or Lilly. We'll see what the refs say. I'm going to tell Joseph Perona to not come in, and the foul called on Leonte Lilly. But wow, what a sequence there from Cameron Lawn as Joseph Perona will check into the game for Stephen Goonan. So now Lane Tech really with, I guess you could say Will Rosenkrantz as a forward, but three guards here in Solibo, Perona, and Malloy, plus the big man Basil, and then you can classify Rosenkrantz as you'd like. Malloy with it, top the key, right-hand side, tries for the finger roll, and one. Nice shot there from Sean Malloy, and he will head to the line to try to make it a 10-point lead. So, two of the star players for their respective teams showing off their skills here in the third quarter. Sean Malloy and Shahid Solibo look like they might be coming alive when Lane Tech needs it most. 47-36, 3:12 to go. Refs still haven't called a mass timeout. There will be a sub into the game, so maybe they're just skipping it this quarter. Sometimes the referees seem to forget about it as Martez Jackson will check into the game for Jordan Legowski, as the free throw from Malloy, no good, misses it. And Lane Tech blows the chance to make it a 10-point game. It's 11 for the Spartans as a quick two there from Jackson makes the impact right after coming into the game. And Orr is on the brink of a 50-point game. And Solibo goes in and gets the quick layup, but more importantly, an 11-point lead for the Spartans as we approach 2:45 to go in the third quarter. Tight defense here from Perona. They get it inside, the three in the corner from Lawn, trying to get the bounce. He can't, and Basil will rebound it and get it to Malloy. Basil's probably the only player on this team who wouldn't bring up the ball no matter what. Maybe Springer too, but all these Lane Tech guys seem like they have the ability to bring it up, as a foul will be called on Lane Tech's Sean Malloy, not the guy you want in foul trouble. I believe that's who they called on. Looked like he gave a one and then the foul signal, so it'll be Orr basketball up by 11 here, 2.5 exactly to play in the third quarter. We mentioned that at halftime, Lane Tech really needed to come out of the gates scoring in the third quarter to get back into this one. They haven't let Orr really expand their lead at all, but Lane Tech has not cut into it. They've made some shots, but it seems like Orr has a response for whatever they send their way. As a steal here, I believe that was either Solibo or Basil punched it away. Solibo on the ground gets fouled. He was losing his balance there, kind of just threw it up, as he slips, and they will call the foul. So a lot of fouls here. Referees calling just about everything tonight here at Orr Academy. 49-38, 2:03 to play in the third quarter. Two guys in the paint to rebound for Lane Tech as Solibo will make the first one. Rosenkrantz and Malloy, not even that midcourt. You can see it there. They're all the way back by the opposing basket for Orr. They don't want anything to slip past them, as second shot no good, rebounded here by Jackson. 10-point Orr lead, under 2 to play in the third. Jackson, all these Orr players, their handles coming alive in the third quarter as Hannah finishes with a nice 2 down low. Orr crosses the half-century mark, and they are up by 12. This is what we were talking about. Whenever Lane gets 1, 2, or 3, Orr is right there to score some more. Solibo, right-hand side. Nice pass. Rosenkrantz has made 1 3 today, won't make the second. He has 6 points. I believe the other 3 were off other shots, as Lane gets it back quickly, trailing by 12. 80 seconds to go in the third. Solibo, in-your-face 3, drains it. So impressive, Shahid Solibo this year. He does not care who is guarding him. He is not afraid to pull up and drain a 3 in the defender's face. Keeps Lane Tech in this one, 9-point lead. Inside they get to Lily, and a foul is going to be called on the ground. Looks like possibly a sub into the game. Jamarion Hudson with his first minutes, the junior shooting guard, number 20 for the Spartans. As far side pulling for 3 is Lily. Ooh, that was close. Around the rim and out, and Lane Tech will get it back. It was punched away by Jackson, but they say it goes out of bounds on on Orr. 47 seconds to go. Lane Tech can make this a 6 or 7 point game if they get the ball in the basket here. Solibo with the hot hand. Jackson comes on with some tight defense. Basil with a screen to his right, then to his left. Solibo gets to the basket, tries to finish, can't get it to go. Missed opportunity for points there for Lane Tech, and now with 28 seconds left, you can imagine Orr might hold for a final shot. They're obviously in no rush, up by 9. As we near the end of 3 quarters of play. Lily with it. Perona forces the steal, though. He's been an aggressive defender all year long. Lays it in and gets it to go. And it's a 7-point lead. 10 seconds on the clock for Lily to do something. Perona with tight defense. No foul called. They'll get it out to Jackson. 3 seconds on the clock. Step back 3. Now a second chance. No good. And that is going to bring us to the end of 3 quarters of play. Lane Tech with a couple of baskets at the end to keep themselves in it. It will be 51-44, your score through 3. We'll be back in just a second. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech basketball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Looks like we're in for a fun finish here at Orr Academy High School. 51-44, Lane Tech trailing Orr as we enter the final 8 minutes of play. Orr had a couple of chances to break this one open in the third, but Lane hits a couple of shots late to stay in this one. It'll be Lane Tech basketball to start the fourth quarter of play, so they'll inbound it to Solibo, being guarded by Hannah here, under 8 left to decide the winner here on Friday night. Rosenkrantz thinks about the 3, now pulls, gets it, and it is a 4-point game. Will Rosenkrantz has 9 tonight, and it is 51-47. Lane Tech's offense coming alive here near the end of the third and start of the fourth quarter. 20 seconds into the fourth. Lily with it right near the Spartans logo at midcourt. Lily blows past Perona, pass down low, and a dunk by Hannah. Oh boy, the crowd goes wild. A poster by Caleb Hannah and a big momentum boost for the Spartans there. Wow. That's the most loud we've seen the Spartans crowd all night. Still just a 6-point game, but wow, Caleb Hanna gets up and throws it down. He's 6'7", so he can do that pretty easily, but wow, what a finish there by Caleb Hanna. And more importantly, there is some momentum right there for Lane Tech. That was their immediate timeout called by Lewis Adams of Orr, I think, just to kind of settle his team down after the dunk. I don't think a foul was called. We'll see after the timeout whose possession it is. And Lane Tech is going to want a quick response to that. As Hanna, the tallest player on the court, makes some noise here tonight. It'll be Lane Tech basketball, down by 6, 7:21 to go. Pressing will be Jackson. And Malloy's going to inbound things. Gets it to Prona. Full court press here from Orr. Lane stumbled once against the full court press here from Orr today, but they've been able to get it up cleanly most of today. And the foul will be called on Cam Lawn as he was guarding Joseph Prona just a little too close for the ref's liking. And Lane Tech will keep possession. 6-point game. This one close in Red Northwest fourth quarter play. Could be in for one of the more fun finishes we've had all year. Lane's had a couple blowouts, a couple close ones, but this suiting up to be one of the close ones. Prona loses on the basketball, stolen here by Jackson. They're going to send Lawn. Lane Tech has numbers, and another, I don't know if we'll call that a dunk or an alley-oop, but Caleb Hanna had his whole head and shoulders, I think you'd call it, above the rim. And a timeout might be called by head coach Nicholas Legal, but I think a foul was called after. I'm not sure on which team, but Hanna making some noise here, and the lead back up to 8. So this is what we've seen a lot this season. Whenever Lane Tech has some momentum, they let teams score, come back, and take the lead at 55-47, 6:59 to go. This was kind of the same story against Westinghouse on Wednesday. That one ended up being pretty close, just a 5-point loss for Lane Tech, but once they let Westinghouse get the lead, it was just Lane Tech has kind of struggled to take it back. It's been the same story today. Lane's been close. They've gone as close as 2 in the deficit, but they have not been able to take the lead back. And it's just hard playing from behind for almost the whole 32 minutes. Obviously, it was close there in the first quarter, but just playing from behind definitely gained this Lane Tech team tired. Or it doesn't even play that many guys. They've had some subs into the game, but they're really sticking with the same 8, 9, 10 and same story for Lane Tech tonight. 6:59 on the clock, 55-47. Or leading Lane Tech. Caleb Hanna waking up here in the fourth quarter and putting on a show for the fans here at the Orr Academy High School Gymnasium. It'll be Lilly, Lawton, Jackson, McCarthy, and Hanna, so same 5 on the court for Orr. It looks like it'll be the same 5 of Basil, Salibel, Rosenkrantz, Malloy, and Grunebaum for Lane Tech. So it'll be Lane Tech. No, it'll be Orr basketball. So, no, now they're going to say Lane Tech. So Orr thought they had it. Refs might talk this over again. 2 refs instead of the usual 3 here in IHSA play. Lane's had 2 for a lot of games. And now they're going to, refs are going to talk it over again. Another officiating miscommunication here, and they're going to say it stayed with Lane Tech. So I think there was a foul right before the timeout. I didn't see which team it was on. They say it's against Orr, and Lane Tech will keep the basketball down by 8 here. Grunebaum. Nice cut to Salibo. He goes up for 2 and gets fouled. Foul called against McCarthy there. And Lane Tech will head to the line to shoot 2. Just 7 cheerleaders here tonight for Orr, but they're making some noise there on the far side bleachers. 55-47, under 7 to play in the third. Big matchup here in Red Northwest play. As Salibo makes the first free throw. Lane looking to get to 5-2 in conference games as Salibo misses the second. Meanwhile, Orr hoping to stay perfect in conference games they've played in this year. 55-48. Under 6:45 to go in the matchup. Lilly being guarded by Malloy. Looks like a little switch there between Grunebaum and Malloy. They're switching guys a little bit. That was dangerous. Grunebaum for a second there was guarding Hannah. Size mismatch there, but they get out of it with no damage done. Under 6.5. Grunebaum hands it off to Rosenkrantz. Basil's just been screening everyone near the top of the perimeter tonight. As Rosenkrantz pulls for three, can't get the bounce, and Orr will get it back. The rebound there for McCarthy. Lilly slows things down, calls out the play. Looks like we'll have a set play from the Spartans as we reach the 6-minute mark, 2 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Lilly drives right-hand side, gets to the basket and scores. And Orr hits 57 points here in the fourth quarter. A 9-point lead for Lane. Salibo getting guarded here by Hannah. That's going to go off the shoes of Jackson and stay with Lane Tech, but they know Salibo can score the ball, one of the top players on this team, and they decide we'll have two guys come in and guard him, and it works somewhat well. Obviously, Lane keeps possession, but Salibo unable to score or pass it off cleanly. As now Grunebaum will bring it up midcourt, being guarded by Lilly. And they are going to, what's it called, a carry on Grunebaum. And sloppy air there for Lane Tech, and that's not what you want here in the fourth quarter of a winnable but game that you're losing right now. You want to have as many opportunities as possible. As Lilly with it on the far side. Spin move, trying to get around Rosenkrantz. A lot of switched matchups between these two teams tonight as Lilly gets the basket. No contact, he misses the layup by a bunch. Now Salibo will think about the three, instead gets it to Malloy here right in front of the camera. Malloy drives in, goes up for two, can't get it to go. Rebounded underneath the basket by Jackson. Now almost a steal here by Rosenkrantz. Malloy tripped over his teammates. Now they'll get to Lawin. Lawin so quick to fire from three, can't get it to go. The time he got that ball to shooting it was insane. It took him like half a second to pull for three, and they will say possession stays with Orr, so must have gone off one of the Lane Tech defenders, and Lane will inbound it underneath their scoring basket here. 57-48, 4:49 to go in the game. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burston on the call here from Lane Gymnasium. They flick it out to Jackson here. Jackson, who's shown he can make shots. Oh, almost gets a lucky bounce there. It'll go out of bounds, though, and Lane Tech will get it back. Still down by 9 here with 4:37 to go in the fourth quarter. They had Salibo bring the ball up once or twice, but Lane Tech has mainly relied on Grunebaum and Malloy to bring things up this evening. One of the later tip-off times tonight, and that is going to be a foul called against number 11, McCarthy, or not someone you want to be picking up fouls if you're the Spartans, because he's been very productive tonight for Orr, and Grunebaum will inbound things. 57-48, 4:26 now to play. They get to Basil, who hands it directly off to Grunebaum. Rosenkrantz looked like he was going to pull for three. Whenever Rosenkrantz gets a touch on it, it looks like he's going to pull. As you see there, got me again, pulled twice, but did not actually shoot it, and Basil gets the quick basket down low. That's just about the first time we've seen Lane Tech utilize Basil in the paint tonight. Hannah was not there guarding him, so Basil had the height numbers he needed, and he gets Lane Tech to the 50-point mark, under 4 to play in the game. Or in no rush, they can take as many seconds as they want as Lilly pulls for, I think it would have been a long two, not a three. So Salibo fighting for it. He trips over the guy defending him, and is going to be a timeout called by Orr. So Salibo tripped over the Orr defender on the floor, turns it over, and I think it'll be Orr basketball out of the timeout. 57-50. I think it's going to be a full timeout called by Orr and not a mass timeout. We'll see what they end up calling it, because it looked as if Lewis Adams called and then the refs pointed towards the bench. I don't think they would have called a mass timeout in such a high-intensity moment like that. So it'll be Orr basketball, I believe, from what we can tell, and then maybe a mass timeout right after. We'll see what the refs do. Not often that we have a timeout called between 4 minutes and the next dead ball, but Orr with a chance to do some damage here, up by 7. A basket would be big. They haven't scored. They didn't score this last time down, but a basket would be, I don't think we can say the nail in the coffin yet, but it would be pretty big for for Orr. Both the coaching staffs taking every last second to talk to their players and try to draw up some strategy for the second half of this fourth quarter. Orr has been control in the whole game. Lane's had a couple of momentum boosts, but overall it's been mostly Orr. Lane Tech sticking in it, but Spartans definitely have played the better basketball, I would say, through the first 3.5 quarters. It will be Orr basketball. Lily inbounding it with half the, oh no, they're going to have Hannah inbound it near the midcourt. Looked like Lily was standing out of bounds. She was actually just standing right on the inside part of the court near the far sideline, and Hannah will inbound it, gets it to Lily. Lily near side, gets a screen to his left from Hannah. Nice handles here, passes it out. And now they'll reset things through Jackson, or taking some good time off the clock here. 3:25 to go. Jackson goes to his right-hand side, pulls for 2, will get fouled, and he will head to the line to shoot 2. Jackson, who's been really impressive tonight, will head to the line. Jackson had 28 earlier this season against Fenwick. He's had some lower scoring games since then, but he's been really impressive tonight. I don't think he's close to that 28 number he had against Fenwick earlier this year, but a very good night for the sophomore. That's another scary thing, as the first free throw is good, but he has 2 more years with this Orr team. Obviously, Orr is going to graduate a lot of talent this year, but they also have some young guys who will be leading this team into the next year. Probably Jackson will be actually the best returner, I think, as most of this team made up of seniors, as he goes 2 for 2 from the line. And a 9-point lead for Orr. 3:20 to go in the fourth. So Lebo being guarded by Hannah. A big screen there from Grunebaum. Almost pushing away is Lily, but Salibo will keep possession. Salibo, spin move, gets to the basket, and one. Nice finish there for Shahid Salibo, and he'll try for the 3-point play at the basket. 59-52, Lane Tech can make it a 6-point game with 3 minutes left if Salibo can hit the free throw. He seems like every time he's going to the line, he's making one, missing one. He only has 1 chance here, though, so he'll hope for it to be a make. Malloy and Basil in there to rebound, but they won't need to, as Lane Tech gets the free throw. 3:03 to go. Jackson with it, being guarded by Grunebaum. Grunebaum staying in front of him. Grunebaum was fouling a little more at the start of the season, but it's gotten really better at defense throughout the year and not fouling, as a foul is going to be called and 2 free throws on the way from Orr. Not sure who that foul was called on, but regardless of the fact, it will be McCarthy shooting 2. I believe a transfer from Uplift played it there his freshman year, as the senior misses his first free throw off the back of the rim. So big miss there for Lane Tech. 6-point game, under 3 to play, 2:54 to be exact. Alex bursting down the call here from Lane Gymnasium. Fun finish here at the Orr Gymnasium. As I mentioned earlier, just a beautiful gym. One of my favorite, might be my favorite in the public league from places I've broadcasted and seen games from so far, as the second free throw is good. So McCarthy goes 1 for 2. Had a rare Orr miss from the free throw line, but makes up for it with the second shot, and it's a 7-point lead, and a foul called on McCarthy. So he gets fouled, and then he commits a foul, and it's going to be 1-1 the rest of the way out for Lane Tech. I don't believe Orr is in the bonus yet, but Grunebaum will head to the line to shoot a pair. I believe it's 3 timeouts left for Lane, 2 for Orr. We don't have the direct numbers on the scoreboard from our angle here, so we've been keeping track on our own, but I believe that's correct, as Grunenbaum will miss the first free throw, and they just continue to haunt Lane Tech this season, missing free throws in key positions. 2:40 on the clock. Basket here could seal it for Orr, and a timeout is going to be called by the Spartans with 2:38. Didn't see if that was a full or a 30-second timeout, but Lewis Adams wants a couple of seconds to talk things over with his team. So I think they're down to just 1 timeout now, but leading by 7. Oh, they might have been Lane who called it. It looked as if Adams was the one right onto the court, but then the ref just pointed towards Lane. So we'll see. Either way, teams meeting at their benches right now. Lane Tech and Orr, a 7-point lead for the Spartans. You mentioned this near the top, but it has been all Orr as of recent between these two teams. On Max Breaks, there's not a single recorded victory for Lane Tech against Orr. Those scores go back to 2005, 2006. They've only played 4 times, but Lane has lost all 4 of them against the Spartans. Last year was one of the closer ones. It went to overtime against Orr. That was at Lane Gymnasium, but kind of fell apart in those final minutes of overtime play, losing 66-58. That was one of the big junior year games for Sean Malloy. He put up 13. It's been decent tonight. He's had stronger nights, but scored a couple times here in the second half when his team needed him. And it will be a 7-point lead for Orr, and Orr possession out of the timeout here in quarter number 4. Lane Tech fans hoping for a comeback here in the last 2 minutes of play, while the Orr fans on the far side of your screen hoping Orr is able to finish it here. Hannah with the long inbound to Jackson, and obviously points would be helpful here for Orr, but if you can just hold it for 30 seconds or so, that would be big. As Lilly will hold it. Defense here from Grunenbaum. Far side to Lawn. He pulls for 3. Malloy gave him a little too much room there, and that's what's going to happen. A 3-pointer there from Cameron Lawn, and the lead up to 10. I think Lawn is up to 11 on the night. Not a super big night for him, but he's hit some big shots. It's funny, when you're watching highlights from him, I watched a couple of them this year, they're almost all 3-pointers just because that's his specialty, and it just works so well for this Orr team. He's kind of a 3-point specialist, and as you've seen tonight, plays almost the entire game as the Orr Spartans will get it back. Foul called, and now it's going to be a timeout called, I believe, by Orr with 2:04 to go. So coaches using up all their timeouts here in the last couple of minutes of play. 10-point lead. This is going to be difficult. So Orr has been so good at free throws today. You probably don't want to get into a free throw shooting contest and score, but also Orr's been taking some quality seconds off the clock every single possession. So you also don't want them to have the ball too much. So Lane Tech's going to need some turnovers here in the last 2 minutes of play and also hit some shots. Ideally some threes. 3 threes would not even give them the lead or tie it, but it would make it a close game. 124 seconds to see what happens in this one. Lane Tech would drop to 4-3 in conference play, still have a winning record, but closer than they would have wanted to being 500 heading into that final week of conference play starting on Monday. It'll be Orr Spartans basketball out of the timeout. Caleb Hanna inbounding it. Jackson hands it off to Lilly. Alex Person on the call here from Orr. Hanna will get it. Looks like Lane Tech in a zone here. They get it inside, breaking the zone. And going up for 2, he'll get fouled, and we'll head to the line to shoot 2, Davion McCarthy. A 6'2 senior guard who's been impressive tonight, definitely more than the 2 points he had on Wednesday against North Lawndale. That was a 3-point game, 3-point win for Orr. So when they don't score the basketball, it's going to be close games for them, but they've scored it tonight with 63 points as the first free throw is good. from McCarthy, kind of icing it here late in the fourth quarter. 1:51 to go. Obviously, anything can happen, but if he makes this second one, it will be a 12-point game. And looks like sub coming in momentarily as the second free throw no good. Malloy chasing after the rebounds, and they're going to say it goes out of bounds. That ball was smashed into the ground. Trying to see who that was there for Orr. As checking into the game once again will be Danny Sims for the Spartans. That was number 2, Martez Jackson, who just threw it into the ground and tried to save it, but not enough, as Lane Tech will get it back, trailing by 11. Malloy gets the basket quick, trying to give it to Salibo, and here's a steal here for Orr. That's big for the Spartans. Just over 90 to play in the fourth quarter. Driving right-hand side, Lilly gets it inside to Sims. Sims to Hannah. They're just passing it around here, trying to take some time off the clock, and a travel there called by McCarthy and a timeout called by Lane Tech. So obviously Lane Tech needs the basketball back, and that's one of the easiest ways to do it. They don't have to risk or making any shots, and they don't have to risk any fouls, as Lane Tech will talk it over with their coaching staff. It was a full timeout called by head coach Nicholas Legalbo. And Orr will talk it over as well. I believe this would be the first win in Legalbo's varsity coaching experience against Orr. I could be wrong on that, but from the records we have, that's what it would be. But it will take a lengthy comeback here from Lane Tech, down by 11 with 1:21 to go in the fourth quarter. As we mentioned, Lane Tech will be taking on Clark at Monday night. As always, we will be having the call of that one. 5 p.m. tip-off. Pregame will get going at 4:50. Or playing back-to-back, they'll play again tomorrow against Wheaton Warrenville South. I believe that is a shootout. And that will be tomorrow, as we mentioned. I believe it's at Batavia tomorrow. During tomorrow's matchup, and it will be 64-53. Lane Tech trailing by 11, 81 seconds to try to pull off a miracle here at Orr Academy. They get the inbound to Grunbaum, being guarded by Lilly. They need points here quick. Grunbaum loses it, and a foul is going to be called by Grunbaum standing on the ground. And that's a big one, and now it looks like Orr is going to be in the bonus as well. So Orr will be shooting 1-1 the way out. Lane Tech trailing by double digits. We'll see if they try to foul or not next time Orr gets possession. But Lane Tech had 2 chances there to score 4 quick points. Would have made a 7-point game. Grunbaum in the previous time as well. But unable to convert. And we'll have subs into the game soon for Lane Tech. Perona is going to check in for Ethan Grunbaum. So Grunbaum takes a seat on the bench for likely the last time tonight. 1:16 to go. And at the line, trying to increase this Orr lead, is Danny Sims. First free throw, no good, so he won't get the second. Rebounded by Basil. Gets it to Perona, who just came into the game for Lane. He falls on the ground. I think they want to travel from the Orr fans as Malloy misses the 3. Rebounded almost by Malloy. Basil comes up with it. He gets a quick 2. Basil scored 4 here in the fourth, but looking like it won't be enough. 9-point lead for Orr, and not getting fouled and coming to the basket. Now he finally gets the foul, but Jackson escaped all the way to the rim without having any fouls called against him. All the Lane Tech players were trying to get 2 hands on him, but they finally get it at the worst possible chance when Jackson is shooting, so not 1-1. Or maybe there's 1-1. We'll see if they call it on the ground or not. One ref showed 2, one showed 1. We'll see if the players rebound after the first shot. Looks like they aren't going to, so it will be 2 free throws, and the first one good from Jackson here to stretch the lead back up to double digits for the Spartans with 53.6 to play in this Friday night matchup. Been a good environment here at Orr, but looks like Lane Tech will come up a little bit short against the Spartans. Salibo grabs the rebound and will pass it to Malloy. Orr obviously has a tough road ahead in city and state, but they're a good team, and they will definitely be a contender for both city title, and obviously they're in 2A, I believe. Yorkville Christian's probably their biggest battle mate in the 2A race, but that will be Fun to watch the Spartans the rest of the way out. Malloy will head to the line to shoot free throws with 40.6 left. As the first free throw good, so he will get the second. Lane Tech shooting 1-1 currently, not in the double bonus quite yet. 1 or 2 fouls, I believe, should put Lane in the double bonus. I don't know if we'll get that with the amount of time left. Obviously, if you're Orr, the one thing you don't want to do right now is foul. As Malloy goes 2 for 2 from the line. One of the first times we've seen the Lane Tech player make both of their free shots here tonight. As Lilly will get it. Gets trapped, gives it to Lawin, and trying to foul is Lane Tech. These refs are really slow to call the intentional fouls here. I think, I'm not sure. It looks as if Lane Tech's fouling them pretty clearly. However, maybe the refs just not giving Lane that right now with 28.9 seconds to go and a 8-point Orr lead. Cam Lawin trying to ice it here against his old team. First free throw, no good. Takes a couple of bounces. One off the front, one off the back, and then one off the front again. And a timeout is going to be called. So I believe that was called by Lane Tech, and I believe that's their final timeout. So Orr really just needs a maybe an offensive rebound, but they really just need to keep Lane Tech from scoring any crazy threes, and they should have this one in the bag. 65-57 the lead with 28.9 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Lane Gymnasium for a fun one between Orr and Lane Tech. Looked as if for a little bit in the third quarter, Orr would be on upset alert as Lane cut it to a 1 or 2 basket game a couple of times, but Orr hits the shot when they need it, and it'll be Cam Lawin shooting his second of 2 from the line after this timeout. They break this huddle. Looks like the same 5 for both teams, and Lawin, who, as we mentioned, a transfer from Lane Tech to Orr after his sophomore year, really great shooter, will try to have one last laugh against his former team here. 65-57. And Lawin goes 0 for 2 from the line, 27 seconds left. Malloy driving in, gets it to Rosenkrantz. Rosenkrantz faked the 3. You don't really have time for fakes here. Malloy drives to the basket and gets it to go. 5-point game, 17 seconds on the clock. Lane does not have any timeouts. 6-point game, and a foul is going to be called on Lane's Will Rosenkrantz. And that will be free throws here for Orr. So I guess 6 is still a 2-possession game technically. This would really be the ice if Lilly can make it a 3-point game here. A 3-possession game, and he misses the third. So we were talking all broadcast long about how good Orr has been at free throws today. And when they need him most, they're kind of coming up short. And he makes the second one. So the big free throw there from the captain. Solibo will bring it up the court. Spin move, goes in, tries to draw the foul, instead gives it out to Malloy. Lane Tech is taking a little too much time on these final possessions. Rebounded by Sims, he'll dribble it out, and that's your final here from Orr Academy High School. 66-59, Lane Tech takes down Orr. A nice effort from Lane, but Orr's star-studded offense, just a little too much for Lane Tech to take tonight. It's a really big second half for Caleb Hanna, especially in that one little run where he had those dunks, and as well as some good shooting from McCarthy and Jackson. Those two were really impressive tonight. Lane Tech had a couple of contributions from Malloy and Solibo, but didn't have any one player truly step up in the scoring column to take down this Orr offense. That's just about going to do our coverage here tonight. As you mentioned, we'll be back on Monday evening for Lane Tech versus Clark. That should be a fun one. 5 p.m. tip-off from Lane Gymnasium, 4:50 pregame. But that's just about going to do it. Your final score here from Orr Academy High School. Orr 66, Lane Tech 59. My name's Alex Burstein. Good night.